Welcome to the OFX podcast. I'm Dave Claxton. Along with me is my poorly prepared podcast partner, Bethany McChesney. As always. Did I say as always? I don't know. And this episode is brought to you by Duonamic, creator of door frame pull-up thingies that are difficult to say and easy to use. And I'm clearly back in form. I'm all rested and alert and I'm ready to go. I'm
back training.
Back training. I did just finish my workout. I had a good workout. Still that is still coming slower than I'd like. But I'm doing like 2 a day, right? So
yeah.
But I think it's going to pay off. Before we get to too much stuff, I want to say thank you to everybody who came to Farm Girl for our class, for our DECA class, our DECA workshop. I can never remember that name, workshop. But yeah, it went really well. It was great. We had a good class and had a lot of fun, and we went through a lot of stuff. We actually ran out of time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like we got through everything, but then we wanted to do some more, like a little more hands-on stuff, but we ran out of time. But everyone seemed happy. It was a great time. It was good. I'm sure we'll probably be doing another one when it gets closer to not this Farm Girl event, but the following one, which I am going to guess would probably be around September, right around the last chance to qualify for Worlds, coincidentally, kind of thing, like that. Anyway, so yeah. Beyond that, before we start, we were talking about RX1, which is not really the topic of today's episode, but who cares? I think now we've gone to we just wing it. Yeah, so back to expert for me this week. And Riley mentioned this just before I started, and I wanted to ask you. I saw the map and I'm like, okay, cool. This is great. No overhead squats. I'm fine to do expert, which I have been working on and I can do them. I just don't like them. So I can do them and I will probably stay with it even if they're that. But did you look at the intermediate course? Because we're both running expert. Did you look at the intermediate course?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Did you see how they finish?
Yeah, 500 meters on the rower.
And we finish with
100 double unders.
I obviously don't like the double unders. I'll do them. I'll get through them. And I have envisions of me building a great lead and then all of it filtering away and finishing dead last on the double unders. But that's fine. But I'm like, give us the double unders, but give us that row too, because that 500-meter row to the finish sounds like a hell of a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, and I don't really think that those two things are equivalent at all. It's like one that's a very high skill-based movement and one that's a no skill-based movement. And
pure
like
output.
Yeah, exactly. And I think being neck and neck in a 500-meter row at the end would just be so awesome.
So I have this vision in my head of like kind of the crowd right by the finish line and the judges behind you on the rower, like counting, 100, 200, 300, 400, and just how fun would that be? And you're going to know the guy beside you and you just be.
And then you got to get off and unhook and then just
run
to finish.
Like, you're not saving anything. You're not conserving. You are just dumping everything left in your body out. And I thought, oh, that would be a great finish. I was kind of in a situation where I wasn't sure if I was an intermediate or expert for this one because of the logistics of the transfer. And I'm like, either way, I really don't care. I'm going to have fun because if they put me in that row in the finish, I am going to hammer that row like mad.
Yeah.
Even if no one's around me.
I've done like single unders for intermediate and then everybody finishes with 500 row. But
yeah. And then did you look at what the pro one is?
I didn't actually.
They're finished with 100 double unders and handstand walks.
Oh.
So I'm like, again, I'm kind of like you said, it doesn't correlate for some reason. Like you got the rowers out, just leave them out there and everybody use the rower to finish.
Right.
Even if you want to throw the handstand walk in for the pros, cool, great, but leave the rower out there. Let's freaking row.
I don't think I will ever move up to pro. There's just too many things that I don't want to practice all the time.
Yeah. And so I've been thinking about this is like for next year, right? This year is great, but next year I want to start to really get ready because my goal is to win over 50 DECA Worlds when I qualify, which is next year I'll be 49 following year. So next year I'm really going to have to focus, and I don't want to waste a lot of time practicing overhead squats, double unders, high skill based movements. I think I need to really be more specific in the training, even more so than I am now. And to accomplish that, because it's going to be freaking hard as hell to do that. That's not like as long as you're in shape, Dave, you'll win. No, it's like I have to be in tip top shape and get lucky. Like
Yeah.
everything has to fall into place. No injuries. I have to be at my absolute peak. And then who shows up on that day? I mean, guys like John Clark are absolute freaking beasts if I want to catch them. Like it's unbelievable. So yeah, I might have to taper off and I might drop to intermediate to do RX1s. I may not do as many. I might drop to intermediate because I don't
Yeah.
want to practice the high skill movements.
Yeah.
Right? And to keep an expert, I need to do that.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I don't know. So things we wanted to talk about today. That wasn't even on our agenda. But RX1 is this weekend. We are looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have a good race. Bethany's going to have a big lead going into the final part where she has to screw up all the double unders because it's actually ski mountain hill running, which should favor most of our team who are OCR people.
I know. I just wish it was a little bit more running. Like 2K is just not enough. I'm assuming that the 500-meter run is like up the mountain and
I
back.
think it's going to be a straight up and down.
Okay, that's perfect.
I don't know that. I'm just guessing, but that
Yeah,
sounds
it's
about
so
right.
short that
Hmm.
that's like running from one side of the field to the other. Like it's not far enough that I'm assuming it has to be up the mountain and back down,
Yeah, yeah, I think so too.
which is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's going to be a nice place.
Hmm.
It'll be a good time. We'll see if we can duplicate our first one and come on with so much hardware.
Yeah.
I got to remember to deliver to you. I got to bring it
Yeah.
this time. Um, so we are going to talk a lot of Hyrox, but before that, I want to talk the Spartan 3K. So you said you got a chance to watch it, right?
Yeah, I did watch it. Yeah.
All right. What did you think? And
Uh,
hold on before you did you watch the one prior?
did I watch the 3K Palm Beach?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I
Okay.
watched
Well,
highlights, but I didn't
it
watch
was
the whole thing.
it was bad signal. It was tough to watch anyway.
Hmm.
So this one, what did you think of this one?
Well, so this one, the like all the talk was about the double sandbag carry. There was supposed to be a barbed wire crawl, and then they changed it because of the snow, and then they made a double sandbag carry, which that's quite a bold move. It's you're going from a movement that benefits the small slight person to something that extremely
Hmm.
goes against the small slight person. And it was sandwiched in between a hoist and a bucket carry. So it wasn't short. So now we're talking, it ended up being like a 2-minute carry in a 10-minute race. So 20% of the race was this double sandbag carry. And it was kind of sprung on the athletes the day before. So the race definitely favored the strong athlete, like by far. So we saw some things really change up, and Nicole just barely made it into the final and then decided not to race. And Chris Roglowski kind of ran away with it. Again, it's very much favored her strengths and what she's been working on in the off season with all of her Hyrox racing and stuff. And then having someone like Ida Mathilde come over and not really being able to showcase any of her strengths also, and she ended up coming third. um yeah, it was interesting to watch just how everything played out. And then, Rylan again ran away with it. Well, I shouldn't say ran away with it because Tyler Veerman put in a really good charge for the first lap and a half. But it was just, I mean, the two athletes that are kind of in the Hyrox world and the hybrid racing, and there's the bigger, strong athletes. It favored them like extremely.
Yeah, yeah. Now here's the thing, and I'm gonna agree with you where the fact that I didn't like the fact that they changed it,
Hmm.
but I did like it. You know what I mean? So if they had been that way the whole time, like if
Hmm.
that had been the course the whole time, I would have been absolutely awesome. I would have loved it because these courses always favor the speedy people. The Spartan races are generally that way. So I liked seeing a little power in it and different. And it was very different from the first one, which was out and out speed.
Hmm.
So this one brought a little power to it. And I kind of liked that. Um, I would say with like you said with Ida coming over, and it was the same thing with Leon. Everybody's like, oh, these 3Ks are gonna be great for Ida and Leon. They've got lots of obstacles, da 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 da. But they're not technical. They're
No,
not
there was
technical
monkey
obstacles.
bars.
Yeah, the monkey bars was the most technical. I mean, it's it's not for them. It's still Spartan, and Spartan's not for them. It's not technical enough. If they put in every technical Spartan obstacle in the 3K. Like they put in Twister, they put in Olympus, they put in Bender, they put in Beater, they put in all that stuff. Then maybe Ida and Leon can take advantage of some of that stuff because other people's grip gets blown up.
Hmm.
But when it's one set of monkey bars and an easy rig, was the
Yeah.
rig in this one? Actually, I forget. Did they have the
No.
rig? No, no, no rig. Yeah,
It was
so
Helix.
you know, I like Helix. Stop everybody badmouths Helix. I like it. You can make some time up in Helix. We proved that in Red Deer.
Oh yeah, you can make time up, but again, like
It's not technical.
no.
No, no. It's like the equivalent of a wall or an A-frame or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
A-frames, by the way, impressed with the kind of ground and moves that were made on the CargoNet A-frame.
Yeah, like Tyler Veerman never used his hands. I
Yeah.
It was very impressive.
And Chris is the only woman I see like skipping a rope, right? So she's
Yeah,
it's like
well, she has long
yeah,
legs.
but so she's double stepping and obviously making a ton of ground on that little A-frame. It's underrated skill, the A-frame,
Mhm.
you know. But I liked we'll talk about the broadcast a little bit. Obviously, it was much better than the
Yeah.
first one,
Hmm.
and it can be chalked up to, I mean, good cell signal, good cell signals, everything for these. I don't know if you watched it. I haven't watched the whole thing, but the Savage race that happened the next day was the exact opposite. Was
Hmm.
just a shit show because of absolute crap cell signal. So I don't. You can't really blame anybody. It's just it is what it is. Um,
Yeah.
that's why these until somebody invests a lot of money, you're going to have races like Big Bear where they got good signal, Blue Mountain where they got good signal. They're going to be good, and then races like where Savage was, they're not going to be so good.
Yeah.
So we'll deal with it. But they did have some cool stuff. They had some nice graphics and stuff, and good tech on the map for that. So that was good to see. Obviously good commentary with Magida and Bracken. They did great. Rabbits were good, all that stuff. So I just wanted to comment on that quickly. I liked that the Herc hoist was in it this time. I thought that was missing from the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he needs some. It wasn't taxing enough on the grip the last one, right?
Yeah, I mean, all of these obstacles just it's not doesn't make for a super exciting race to watch though, too. Like, going over an A-frame and like the hoist and the carries and stuff, like I don't know, moves can be made on all of these and we saw it like Rylan, um even the hoist he could make up like a significant amount of time, and same with Chris Rogowski. It's just I think there's a lot more exciting obstacles they could be putting in to make it um, just a little bit showcase a bit more skills.
What do you think about my statement that 3K is too long? It should just be the 1K.
Yeah,
I like,
yeah, because the 3K ended up, it's a 30-minute race. And it does they are running these races really close back to back. Like first heat, you kind of put on a shirt, jog around a little bit, you're doing the second heat and then the third one. So it's not really for like your pure sprinters because you're basically having to do that 5 times like in a short amount of time, probably all done within an hour and a half. So you do need to have that endurance piece, and they were showing people's times didn't drop off dramatically. So, and a lot of people would figure something out in the first heat and then they'd adjust in the second heat, run it a minute faster, and then they'd still be able to maintain their times in the 3 rounder at the end. So, but yeah, I could see the 1K, 1K, 1K being like a little bit more, again, like spectator friendly. Um, but yeah, it does change for the athlete for sure. And you have to be smart about how you're racing. And we saw a couple athletes kind of hang back in the heats just to secure their spot. But I mean, that's how you race when you're racing heats and finals.
yeah, I just think the 1K, if they had that for the final, people would just sell out more. There'd be
Mhm.
less thinking, less pacing, and more bad out of hell,
Yeah.
and possibly more upsets. Were you surprised with Nicole with her performance? Because I mean, I'll be honest, in the thing, I picked her to win.
Even, well, before or after the double sandbag carry?
I did it before and then I didn't switch it, but I don't know if I would have switched it or not.
Hmm.
He was just so dominant the time before that I don't know that I would have switched it.
Yeah.
So I was surprised.
Yeah. I mean, she's she's shown she can do the double sandbag carries. I think she's a lot more cautious right now too, because she did state um like there's an injury fear when you're running with 80 pounds on your back running down a mountain. And that was, I think, part of it too for her. Also, and I get what she was saying. So she said she didn't race in the final. The 80 pounds carries just took too much out of her. And I mean, I don't think based on the rounds that Nicole necessarily would have podiumed. I think the podium would have been the same. But I think she made a really good point though that changing the race the day before is very unfair when there was a race that if she went to the Savage race, which would have suited her abilities much more. um like I think if she knew that a third of the race or more was going to be like all this heavy stuff, then I think that's where she would have gone instead. So I mean, if it was me and I went out
Hmm.
to Big Bear for this 3K and you change a crawl to a double sandbag carry, I would have been kind of pissed too. Again, that's like 80% of my body weight. And then and the thing with the double sandbag carry too, and when you watched it, like it's difficult to watch because it's not even necessarily the weight. It's how do you get one heavy sandbag on and then get the other one on and still be able to hold it. And if you drop it, oh man, like getting them back up again. So sometimes you were just watching people like fumble and get frustrated with these sandbags. Like I think even if it was like a farmer's carry, it might have been a little bit better to watch. I think the double sandbag carry is just, I don't know. I'm really not a fan.
Wow. We
Mhm.
rarely disagree. I do like it, but I get the point though. This
80-pound sandbag. I think I would like it better. You
one
just,
80 pound sandbag, yeah.
yeah, then the double sandbag. It's just, there's so much time watching people fumble and drop the sandbags. Like,
Mhm.
and then it's like, I don't know. And again, like she said, if it's something that you know you're doing, and it was always in Lake Tahoe. So people kind of practice with the double sandbag thing and getting them on their shoulders together and, their strategy and stuff. But like, man, just watching people fumble with two sandbags, I don't know. I don't love it.
Yeah, you make a solid point. You make a solid point. I would be better. I like the heavy, but I could see the point about not having it be two and having it just be one heavier bag.
Mhm.
But yeah, and the change. I don't like the change. And I don't really see the reason for it because I mean the ground looked fine to have a crawl, and I thought they always like nasty crawls.
Right. Like it's weird for Spartan to say like, oh,
Why can
it's
we
not
crawl
even
through?
treacherous for a crawl.
Yeah, like you can go through the dunk wall, which is water, and that's okay. And
Yeah.
they can make us crawl through fire ants, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But a little snow is dangerous. I was confused. I wonder if they just said, you know what, we want to put this in, and we're just going to say it's because of the uh the snow.
Yeah. But then they climbed over a snow hill.
Yeah, yeah.
And they actually, I heard they were throwing snow into the dunk wall.
But you got to have that freezing cold first. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I felt for the athletes like Nicole. Just,
But Chris again put on an amazing performance. She was killer, and then she ran over to Savage and was killer there again too.
yeah, flew through the night, slept on the plane, got to the race course like in the nick of time.
I was impressed that Alex Walker, took it out, took it to her. She's like, I'm gonna take my shot, and hats off to her for not just saying, oh, Chris is here, I'm gonna take second. No, she's like, I'm going for it. And Miranda Kilpinski too, like same thing. She's like, I'm going for it. Let's do it.
Hmm.
Worked out better for Alex than it did for Miranda, but it is what it is.
So I didn't see all of the coverage, but did Alex get hung up on an obstacle?
I didn't get to see the end of it either, but I do know Miranda got hung up on an obstacle. She was doing all right. Um, I think at the end she did. Alex, she posted she just got out obstacled at the end, and
Okay.
I'm assuming so. The rig was some vertical stuff, ropes and whatnot, and then there was like a 7.5 foot lache to the bell at the end, and maybe that hung her up a bit, and just Chris maybe got through it faster because Alex was ahead of her, but never by a giant margin, you
Yeah.
know. So Chris always had her in sight. So I yeah, didn't get I was away cottaging this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yes, yes, yes. La di da. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you that's I mean, I can tell you now, whatever. What did we were away at the cottage and the next door neighbor's cottage burned to the ground. Like literally burned to the ground. Done.
When you were there?
Yes.
What?
So friends, Chris and Kelly invited us up, and they were about to go up, and they because we had to do our course, and then we're about to go up, and they're like, yeah, yeah, come on up, and they said, oh, but the neighbor's cottage is on fire, and we're like, what? Like it's okay, it's everything's under control, you know. So we come up, and yeah, it was still going. Firefighters are still dumping water on it. They said used like 100,000 gallons of water. That wasn't an exaggeration. That was the number we were told. And it just like they had to keep tearing the house apart, and every time they pulled off a piece of the cottage, they'd find more fire, and it would just spark up
Oh,
again, and it was
wow.
just there
That's
was mess.
devastating.
Yeah, it was no. Luckily, nobody hurt.
Yeah.
Nobody hurt, no pets hurt, nothing whatsoever. No casualties. I don't even use that word. No, whatever.
Yeah.
Just 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 damage, and wow, it was crazy. But just to see it, like
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, so that's why I didn't get a chance to finish the Savage race. So I'll
Mhm.
finish it later. Uh, yeah, back to the Spartan thing. I still liked it. I still enjoyed it. I do know that you are not alone in your criticisms. There are a lot of others that feel the same way. So I think on this one, I'm in the minority on this one. Um, there's still work to be done, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing is with the whole changing it the day before and kind of throwing in something that Spartan doesn't really do that much anymore is the whole point of this new format is to appeal to I'm assuming it's still Olympics. So trying to create more standardization, a better viewership experience. And so then why are we again throwing something in that people didn't know was coming? Like I know that that's part of Spartan's ethos is be prepared for anything and but I thought that the whole reason that they were doing this type of thing was to create more standardization. So which is also then confusing why the night before, let's change something to something completely different. I
Spartan, they do Spartan stuff.
know, but I think the point is that Spartan needs to be little bit less Spartan in order to appeal to an extremely standardized organization like the Olympics.
Yeah, but I mean, Spartan's not going to the Olympics. They're never going to the Olympics. They're a company,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Just like Iron Man is not in the Olympics. Triathlon is. Iron
yeah.
Man's not. So
So then
obstacle course,
OCR. So we're trying to make obstacle course racing
yes.
appealing to the Olympics, but I don't think that heavy carries are as appealing to the Olympics as what they want, which is the rig stuff, which is what's in the pentathlon.
Yeah. Did you see some of the? I know the 100 meter. I think was record was broke again by the same woman who had it, but I don't like the 100 meter OCR course. It's too much long jump. Much like that first year they had it at not
Yeah,
bad, but the similar problem is when they had it at OCRWC. Just
yeah.
a little too much long jump for me. It's still cool. I mean, it's wicked fast,
Hmm.
but and this was the problem is they committed to having that be the course.
Hmm.
I think not enough testing.
Yeah. And
And
maybe not enough input from people in the OCR
yeah,
sport. I don't know.
maybe I don't know how that went. All I know is I mean you got to be blown away with the speed that people are putting in it, but it also just visually looks very easy.
Hmm.
Maybe that's okay because like speed climbing, when those guys do the speed climbing, that looks really easy. It's not, but it
Right.
looks like they're flying
Yeah.
up there in 5 seconds and it looks super easy. So I don't know. Maybe
The
I'm off.
shortest race in the Olympics.
Is it? Is it officially the short? Yeah, because what are they like 5 seconds to go up there?
Yeah. Yeah.
They
It's around
really,
that.
they really do look like the harness is pulling them up.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
they're going so fast.
Yeah.
And have you ever done the course?
Yes, but I don't.
I've never tried it yet. I'm gonna try it one day, but I've never done it. How fast are you?
Oh, not fast. Like, I don't remember. more in like the 30 seconds.
I was gonna say, were you under 20?
No, like I
No.
had to like climb it because it's a sequence too. So like I haven't
Hmm.
practiced the sequence. Like I was still climbing it like I was figuring out how to do it. Like,
I wonder how much, wow, we're really off topic. I wonder how much they practice just that route,
oh yeah.
climbers and people doing the 100 meter. Like, how much are they practicing now just that route?
Yeah, I don't know.
And I guess it's okay, right? It's no different than doing a deca. You're practicing just those movements. So,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, we'll see. More of that. All right. Hyrox Worlds, which was supposed to, we were going to do a whole Hyrox preview show, and then we just had other things we
Before
wanted to
we
talk
move
about.
from OCR though, the
No, go
Savage
on.
race, we didn't even mention. So Ryan Kempson won again for men.
Of course he did.
Yeah. And then the men's field didn't look too deep again. So we had
Mm.
Joseph Cotto and Jordan McDougall
I
finishing.
think Joseph Cotto has been like, he's been like consistently fourth kind of thing, hasn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, because well, I think so. Anyway, he's been in there. He's doing well. He's doing well.
And Jamie Horniopoulos,
Orinopolis.
yeah, finished the podium on the women's side also. So she's having a great season.
The women's podium has been the same for every race.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's catching on. I don't know that
Savage.
yeah, and I question the people like who were so upset with Spartan about changing,
Hmm.
and Savage is still offering this race, which is far more similar to what they were doing, and they don't seem to be
Well, I
jumping
think
on it.
some of it though is location because Savage is so condensed on the East Coast, and a
Yeah,
lot of OCR athletes are coming from the West Coast. So
Colorado.
yeah,
So does that mean OCRWC will be a big turnout?
yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so. By the way, I have officially called it a no-go for
Oh,
OCRWC.
really?
Yeah, it's just not going to work for me. It's just
Hmm.
too expensive, too difficult, too all of the above.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I don't want to go south to race in the snow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so that was another piece with the 3K this weekend is again, we're dealing with altitude. So when you're putting these races at altitude, like again, you are definitely there's advantages to people that live at altitude. And I know some people did struggle this weekend who do not. So, and again, our
And
two winners live at altitude. So,
yeah, yeah. Anyway, with Savage thing, like you say, Kempson is just dominant. He's got the thing, and with no Sean Roberts there, that
yeah, where was VJ this weekend?
mm, doing VJ stuff.
Huh. Because we had a 3K and a Savage.
Yeah, I don't know what VJ's doing. I think VJ's kind of at a transition point. I mean, he did a Deca Fit recently and did really well. And I think he's getting focused on that, which
Okay.
I'm great. It was great. I think VJ is going to be awesome. And I mean, more top quality athletes in Deca is nothing but thrilling for us. But it's almost a shame because he's just so good on the obstacles and so fun to watch. And I want to see him out there. I want to watch him. I want to watch him in these shorter courses. He's that's his where he shines, and
Mhm.
I would hate to see him walking away from it.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah. So Savage was good. It was a good race. I would like to try one of those ones with the Lachey's at the end.
Yeah.
We'll
They
see.
do look fun.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I don't know. Just coming to my head on the word of trying things. And eventually, we're going to talk to these people. I want to do Native X in Florida. Have you seen that one?
No.
So it is, and I think I talked about it before. It is fitness stations, running, and ninja obstacles,
Oh,
all,
fun.
all in the same race. I'm
Hmm.
like, yes, 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 yes. Very good fun.
Yeah.
So eventually I want to do it maybe next January because I think they have ones in January in
Hmm.
Florida. And of course, my plan is eventually to live 6 months of the year in Florida. So that'd be really handy.
Hmm.
Are you ready for Hyrox?
Yep.
All right, all right. So Hyrox Worlds coming up this weekend. Super excited. Hyrox will be doing coverage. I think they're using in-house, so I don't think it's on OCR report. When we find out exactly where, oh no, wait, I do remember you can find it. It will be on Hyrox website. So when we get a link, we'll be sure to post it.
Okay.
But
I
yes,
thought I saw in an article that they had posted where it was going to be. So
had they posted
there
the
is
link?
a link out. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited to watch that, and it'll be nice because we can watch it like at a decent time because it's in the UK, so it'll work well here.
It's Friday night.
Is it Friday night? Isn't that when they do the Parade of Nations kind of thing?
Oh, I thought the Elite 15 was going Friday night.
Well, I thought it was the maybe I'm wrong. We'll have to look at the. We'll definitely post the schedule and stuff, but we'll look at that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
it is the weekend. And let's see, shall we do some screen sharing stuff here? Yeah, let's do that because then we can look at who's in and who's out. All right. So we have up here. And now this is not finalized because I understand that some of it is different. And I'll say one right away. This is on the Hyrox website. So as listed, they have Lauren Weeks, Michaela Norman, Megan Jacoby, Miriam Von Rohr, Linda Meyer, Alundra Greenlee, Rebecca Mason, Belle McFarland. By the way, those two ladies kind of fresh on the scene, making some serious noise.
Hmm.
Tara Jackson, John Thompson, Jenny, Viola Oberlander, Ida Matilda Stinsgaard, Vivian Tafuto, Chris Rogloski, and Alina Wilnow.
Hmm.
Now, I do understand that some of these women are not going to be there. I do not, and this is not 100%. So if I'm wrong, don't come down on me too bad. But I believe Michaela Norman will not be there, which is pretty massive.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal. And I also believe, but I don't know for sure, that Ida Steensgaard may not be there either.
Okay, that was the one that when I saw the list that Hyrox Daily posted, I was like, I don't know if Ida was going or not, but
You know what I think happened with Ida? And I mean, I haven't talked to her or anything, but I think she almost qualified by accident.
like on a fast course.
I think she went out, she had a great run and she qualified and it was a fast course, but I don't think she's really focused on this. And it just kind of happened. And then when she did that European Championship and it hit her so hard,
Yeah.
I think she's just like, I think she maybe realized I cannot do as well as I should at this unless I focus. And her focus is elsewhere.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's my thought. So anyway, with that, you may see Jezebel Craner and Antej Hardy's, you may see them fill in as the
Yeah.
next two people in line. So that's the women. For the men, you got Alex Ronkovic, Tim Vinich, Michael Sandbach, David Magida, Dylan Scott, Hunter McIntyre, Joffrey Voisin, Ryan Kent, Jonathan Wynn, Tobias Lutvine,
Mhm.
uh, Graham Halliday, Tiago Lusa, Florian Gass, Tom Hogan, Peter Schiller. I have not heard about any men not going.
No,
Um,
not that. I mean, I don't know. I don't follow all of the Europeans there, but not none that I know of.
no, I haven't heard for sure. I was impressed. Tom Hogan got in there at the last one at Hong Kong. That was cool. I'm glad to see it. I'm a big fan of Tom Hogan, so
Mhm.
good to see him in there. Um, Interesting thing. If you just look at qualifying times and you looked at Magida and Dylan Scott, who were locked in with their wins, with their podiums at the US Championships, um, like Dylan Scott's time's not fast enough, nor is Magida's. Actually, neither is Michael Sandbach's.
Oh, right.
That like their times that they had, they're yeah. So very interesting. Like just again, it shows all the courses like it so needs to be head to head.
Well, but at least they've done automatic qualifiers for certain wins and podiums.
Hmm.
Because then that does, at least in those races, it eliminates, well, if this was a hard course. So, I mean, Dylan does deserve to be there. So, and his podiums indicate that. Same with Dave Magida.
Yeah, I mean they went out in the North American Championship and went 1-2. I mean they showed and they're racing all these other guys. Well, save for Hunter, right? other than Hunter, these other guys were there. They've raced
Yeah.
them. So
Yeah.
it's, I mean, Joffrey Voisin with a 56.46 is not 3 minutes faster than Dylan Scott.
Right.
And to be honest, I don't think Joffrey Voisin has ever beat Dylan Scott, to my knowledge. I could be wrong on that. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I am praying, hoping that next year the system has changed. So fun stuff, all right? With Michaela out, really, what? Let's do the women after because they're more fun. Men's podium, all right? Let's maybe even try the top five. Top five for men's. Bethany, who's going to be first, or do you want to go fifth to first?
Oh, this is so hard because I just don't know the American men super well.
I don't know the American men super
I
well.
mean, sorry, I don't know the European men super well. Um, okay, so fifth, I don't know. I think I might have to go. I think it was just so interesting what happened in the last head-to-head race with Hunter and Ryan Kent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of psychological strategy involved in some of the things that's going on right now. And I think that is going to play a lot into it. And I think Hunter and there was a statement made, we've talked about this too, but
Mm-hmm.
and I with Hunter and his coach
Yes.
Richard Diaz, and that they didn't think that Ryan Kent had the mental fortitude to beat Hunter. And I was like, oh wow, all you did was you just lit a fire under Ryan Kent. Like I
Yeah.
don't know if and so I think that those two, it's going to be a really good battle between them. And I the way Ryan Kent looked the last time, I think that if he can break Hunter early again, I think Ryan Kent could win. He's just looking in fantastic form. And then I don't know what's going to happen with Hunter, but he'll be on the podium still. And then yeah, it's going to be such a crazy battle then around that third, fourth, fifth position with Ronkovic, and I think Dylan Scott's going to be in there. Um, yeah, and then some of these guys have fast times, but they were done on some really fast courses too. So, and I mean, Sandbach is consistently up in that top two. So, I think there's going to with Dylan, Alex, and Sandbach, I think they will probably fill out the top five.
So you're gonna have Kent, Hunter,
Okay, yeah,
Dylan, Sandbatch, and that's four. Who you got for fifth?
Ronkovic.
Ronkovic. All right, all right.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, three Americans, and but again, I'm showing favoritism because I know them better, but I don't like.
Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. You're absolutely right. So it does seem, and it's strange that it seems this way, right? Everybody's like Hunter and Kent are on another level,
Yeah,
but at the same time, Kent got smashed at North American Championship,
yeah,
then did come back and do some great races, which is good. I mean, I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying it's interesting that when it was there, he kind of laid an egg that day.
yeah,
And then Hunter goes out and does this amazing world record time overseas, and then comes back home and shits the bed.
yeah.
And I'm with you there. The mental stuff going on there. I don't buy, oh, I was trying to set a world record and what good is the win if I didn't set a world record kind of thing. Like essentially that's what he's saying, right?
Right.
And I don't buy that. I think he did. He went out too hot and he crashed and burned. But it just shows that he is not immune to doing so.
Hmm.
Um, I do think Kent will win. I do think Kent will take it. I think we'll know coming off the sled pull. If coming off the sled pull, Kent is within striking distance of Hunter, he'll take him because his confidence will soar and he'll be like, this is where I need to be.
Hmm.
So I think that yeah, I'm gonna go with Kent. And here's my question. This is what's going through my head. If Hunter cracks, if Kent comes off, they come off the sled pull and Kent passes him. Does Hunter throw in the towel or does he continue to fight? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, if history repeats itself.
No, I've seen Hunter a couple times walk off course when he wasn't going to get the win. This is
Uh,
not out of the ordinary. He did it here at Worlds for OCR. He's done it there. Like it's not unheard of. I mean, his beer mile puked on the first lap, and then he called her a day. This is not
when it
unheard of.
really mattered.
When it really, really mattered. The beer mile is important, and we all know he talked a lot of shit about that beer mile.
Yeah.
So do I think no, I don't think he's gonna walk off. I think he'll stay. So I'm gonna go Kent and then Hunter. And then in third, I'm torn between two here. This is a tough one. And due to like, here's the thing, they're both even. I like them both. But I gotta go with Dylan because he's the Team OFX guy. I think Dylan in third.
And I mean, I know these guys are all dialed in,
Yeah.
but I've just what Dylan does, like talking about someone who's so hyper focused and like has put so much into this. I know all of these guys have and everybody does, but what he does is just on another level. So if Dylan can taper appropriately,
I don't think
and
Dylan knows what that word is.
I know, and just allows his training to actually like absorb with a little bit of like take it back. And I know he knows what to do. But I think he could smash it.
He he's proved time and time again and has proved consistently that you do not need to be a giant monster to do this.
Hmm.
That you don't need to squat 400 pounds to do this. Like Dylan squats 63 pounds. I don't know. It's not a lot. I mean, obviously that's an exaggeration, but he'll tell you, he's like, my lifts are pathetic.
Uh-huh.
Like I think he made the joke that when they were doing the battle bunker virtual, he's like, I wouldn't have qualified for the women's heat. Like weight distance. Like he's like, he's just that's not his
Yeah,
forte, but he's proven it doesn't need to be. And that's why I keep telling people Hyrox is not as heavy as they're saying.
yeah.
It really isn't.
It
It's
just has to not take too much out of you.
yes, exactly. But it's not as heavy as they're saying.
I think if he's close after the sled pull, I would be scared of Dylan in the second half of that race.
Yeah. The only problem with Dylan too is still the wall balls are still not his friend. Like
Hmm.
never really become the closer on the wall balls. But still, I'm gonna give him the 1% nod to third place. And fourth is a guy you didn't even mention, David Magida.
Yeah, I know I didn't, but
Yeah, Magida coming off
he's in there too.
the North American Championship and confidence just brewing. He has been on a roll. He's
Mhm.
looking great. And that's why I'm like, oh man, given the right day, he could go out and win it,
Yeah,
you know? But the only downside is still David has been like a little up and down with his performances. But I think he's rolling right and he's got it dialed in. He's got his tech, he's got his strategy laid out. If he does his strategy like he did at North American Championships, everybody better be scared, including Kent and Hunter.
yeah. And
Like,
he's someone too who really doesn't get thrown off by like the psychological stuff too, where and people like taking it out hot or if people are ahead of him, he doesn't panic. He like we saw in Chicago, he just kind of kept his cool and ran his own race and it paid off.
when he's done enough of them now that
Hmm.
he knows, he knows his stride, he knows his pace.
Hmm.
And whereas before I think he did he was struggling to figure out what worked best for him. And I think now he has it.
Hmm.
So dangerous, dangerous guy. He is dangerous. So he would be fourth. And then in fifth, I would actually go with Ronkovic because, well, he is always there.
Yeah.
He is consistent, right? Even when he has a bad race, it's still pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas I think, and I'm taking Ronkovic over Sandbatch because Sandbatch is the other end of it. He's Captain Inconsistency.
Hmm.
And I think the hometown thing for Sandbatch is going to play with his head. Like this is,
Too hyped.
yeah, like he is the hometown boy. He's going to have a cheering section like no other. It will be
Yeah.
insanity for him. And I kind of worry that that's going to over rev him and he's going to maybe go out a little too hot. And then, as we all know, wall balls are not his friend either.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
even if he does get a lead, it's not going to be safe. So yeah, I'm thinking he might slide off. Just this is championship races are for the mentally strong, and he hasn't shown that he's quite got it all yet, in my mind. Now maybe he comes out there and wins this and shows I've slayed those demons, and I hope he does because he seems like a really nice guy, and he's a hell of an athlete.
Hmm.
So, hey, so that's my top five. And then there's a lot of other guys back here who've really done well that have been a good surprise. Jonathan Wynn done really a lot of stuff come in. Like I said, Tom Hogan. I really would love to see Tom Hogan sneak up there, but I just don't think that it's in the cards for him on this one.
Hmm.
And yeah, and a guy actually, I'm almost hoping like Kelly James. I want to see Kelly James get into the 15. Like if someone drops out, I think he's another guy who is getting better all the time and would be great to watch in there. So, so that's for me. And that was almost a full American top five. It was an American sweep on the podium that I had.
Yeah.
It's not just because my wife's American.
Yeah, we're definitely showing our favoritism, but
Yeah, I think so, but I also think that it has shown, mind you, you say that, but then over in the European Championship, I mean, Megita was the only North American there, and he was
yeah.
still feeling it out, and then beat the same guy. That's the other thing, travel, right?
Hmm.
Like, who has a good travel and prep? I know a lot of them are going over. Like, I know Tara, I think, went over early, and everything. A lot of them are going over early, and that's got to be the move because
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and
I know Ryan Kent's over there already.
yeah, yeah. So I got Kent, Hunter, Dylan, Megita, Ronkovic,
Hmm.
and then you had Kent, Hunter, uh, Alex. Who'd you have third?
I said Dylan.
Dylan, and then what do you had of Alex in fourth?
Hmm.
I don't even think you remember. Scroll back, you'll see it. Okay, time for the women because I think they're more interesting anyway.
Mm.
Um, so both in the European and North American, podium was the same three women. Michaela, Lauren, and Meg Jacoby, just in slightly different orders.
Yeah.
Now, I'll go first for this.
Okay.
Okay. So Meg is just on fire,
Yeah.
dialed in, on fire, broke 60, looks unbeatable at the moment. And I don't think she's unbeatable, but I do think it is her race to win. So I got Megan first. Uh, and with no surprise, Lauren Weeks in second because Lauren is just Lauren. She's going to come up big. Those two are going to go out so hot
Yeah.
and challenge anyone to run with them.
Yeah.
And some of the ladies to the back might give it a try for a little while, and we'll see if they can hold on. Did we even say who's all? I didn't even say who was all in the women's field, did I? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Feels like I didn't mention Chris Rogowski though, and Vivian Tufudo.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Um, yeah. So Megan, Lauren, and then it gets very, very interesting
Yeah.
because you're dealing with a lot of different moving parts here, a lot of talented women. Um, in third, wow, wow. I'm torn between like nine different people for third.
So basically the rest of the field on.
Basically the rest of the field. No, you know what? I'm gonna go with Miriam Von Roy. I think Miriam's been training a lot, and if she is within 30 seconds of someone coming into the lunges, she's going to be most likely catch them. However, I will say when she used to be the only woman doing wall balls unbroken, and now it's mandatory if you want to be in the top 6 for women to do unbroken wall balls.
Yeah,
So, but she'll still gain 15 seconds because her cadence, her
yeah,
her rate is just her rep rate is just unbelievable. So I'm gonna put her in third, which I think is big for her, and I do know she's been working on her running.
yes.
Her running is definitely a step below a lot of the other ones, and that's why I'm hesitant, but I'm gonna put her there. Fourth, I'm gonna go with Dr. Alundra Greenlee. She just seems to be always there, and I think she's one of the women who will last through the chasing Meg and Lauren. She'll survive.
Hmm.
And then in fifth, Tara Jackson. Not just out of favoritism. I think that's where Tara's going to be. I think that's where her conditioning is. That's where her shape is. Um, yeah, she could be third. I just her thing. She's going to perform the way she performs, and it becomes what do the other women do around her.
Hmm.
You know, she's going to be consistent. She's going to be a 104, 103, somewhere around there, and this just depends on what the other women run for that race. So yeah, but I mean, Vivian Tafudo, I think, is underrated in this. Um, Viola Oberlander can easily throw in a massive rate. Viola Oberlander could come out of nowhere and be on the podium.
Yeah, and she's one of the athletes too who has more experience than, I mean, her and Lauren Weeks would have the most experience of anyone else in this field.
Yeah, yeah. And then you have the two newcomer women that I will really jump out at me. And like I said before, Rebecca Mason and Belle McFarland. And Rebecca Mason is going to have that monster gallery cheering for her, which for her, I think plays to her favor, right? Because she would not be really a favorite to win. So it's like more like if she comes 7th or 15th or whatever, no one's going to be, she's not going to be embarrassed. It's not going to be anything like that.
Yeah.
So that crowd giving her the extra push, I think, is just would be a good helping her, and she could sneak into the top 5. Um, yeah. Wow.
Well, and then someone like Belle McFarland, this will be her third Hyrox ever.
Mhm.
So again, she's still on that massive learning curve, and to be uh, ranked eighth right now, like same thing. She's still in that phase where she can be taking big chunks of time off. So someone like that could sneak in too.
And never said it, never talked about her for this, talked about it earlier, but Chris Rogloski, defending world champion,
Hmm.
last year wasn't even originally in the top 15, got in through the roll down and won the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Is she capable of doing that again, or does lightning not strike twice?
Yeah, I don't think lightning strikes twice. I think that was one of those really interesting years too, right? Lauren was off with the baby, like Michaela wasn't there. There's just it was like, and she just kind of snuck in from behind, like ran her own race, and it worked in her favor. And um, I just think there's too many of these girls now who are just this is this is all they do. And
This is their
Chris,
sport.
yeah, yeah. And they're super dialed in. And I mean, we know Chris raced twice this weekend, and I'm not saying that that seems to take anything out of Chris's legs, but she had the Hyrox World Championship is not necessarily her primary focus right now. So I don't think without it, you're beating a girl like Meg Jacoby or Lauren Weeks right now.
Well, this is Chris's primary focus for this week.
Is it? She's not flying back for a
I don't
Spartan.
think she has another race planned for this week. I think this is the number one race this week is Hyrox World Championship. She's dialed in. But we'll say we had a friend of ours saying like Chris is looking stronger, looking a little. I don't want to say bulkier, but like she looks stronger than normal, and that definitely than she did at the beginning of the season. And proof in the pudding at the Spartan race with the double sandbag, she ate those up.
Yeah, she did.
She was definitely feeling good.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean, it could happen, but I wouldn't bet money on it,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But best of luck to her. And again, I think well, I deeply showed my North American bias. Um, all right, lay it out there. What do you got?
Yeah, I was thinking very similar to you actually. I would I think at this point it would be silly to not pick Meg Jacoby just based on just destroying the world record. And I mean, she's just she's looking so strong. Um, it's definitely her race to win or lose. And then with Michaela potentially out, that leaves it open. And I think Lauren Weeks is going to sneak into that second position. And it's going to be such a fun race to watch between those two girls. They do have similar racing styles also. They like to take it out hot and basically lead until they can't. And it works out for both of them. Um, yeah, and then I was picking Miriam Van Roer also for that third spot. She has been consistently improving, and at the European Championships too, she smashed lunges and made up such a big gap. And then she lost like 40 seconds putting her shoe back on.
Yeah.
And so she is capable even of more than we have seen yet. And I think she's gonna fix all those little things. And she ran better than we've seen her in a long time also at the European Championship. So yeah, I'm gonna put her on third. And she's the youngest lady in this field too, and she's quite young, which is also very impressive.
Mhm.
So there's probably a lot more to see from Miriam in the future. So that's my predicted podium. And then yeah, again, that fourth and fifth place positions are going
You got
to
to narrow down to the 9 women.
yeah, yeah. um Yeah, so and like same I'm kind of looking at like Alondra, Bell, Tara, again showing my favoritism, but um Linda, I don't know if we've seen her in her best form so far this year.
I
So I think I'm gonna put Alandra then in fourth, and for fun I'm gonna put Belle McFarland in fifth, and just a
Ooh.
bit of a dark horse, but again I she's on that learning curve where I think she could just, and this will be her first race in Europe also. So again, if this sled theories are true, um, she'll take more time off of that one. So I'm going to put her in fifth.
Yeah, and the sleds are it is legit. I mean,
Mm.
you just got to look at the numbers and you see it's not a deliberate, you know, thing.
No.
It's just what it is. But yeah, I've been impressed with her. She's done good. Linda Meyer
Mm.
last year, second at World Championship, um, led for a long way. I just think this year has kind of bit her. It's not like you said, it's not been her year. I think she comes back next year better.
Yeah.
I think this year she's just kind of going to have to take her lumps, and then next year she'll come back hopefully stronger and more competitive. And
When
who
she's
knows?
off a little bit with injuries too.
Yeah,
So
and that's what I mean. Yeah, so it just didn't work out for her, but hopefully next
mm,
year. And again, with I say this with Vivian as we go. I say Vivian next year is twice as scary as Vivian this year because
yeah.
she's finally learning how to train for this, how to work it out, how to get through it. She's getting better and better, and she is young too. So,
Hmm.
we could see a lot of her and Miriam, going head to head down the road. Um, yeah, it should be a good race, and I look forward to it. Like I said, we both picked a lot of North American content there.
Yeah.
Do you think the travel could bite them all in the ass? Because it did the 1 year over there, right? Like you had Hunter over there and Dylan and Magida, and it ended up the Europeans just dominated.
Mm, yeah, I don't think so. Like I think they'll do what they need to do to make sure that if typically the travel does mess with them, then they'll get over a little bit early. And I don't think that it's going to mess with them too much. I think that they're going to be fine.
I think that year was a learning curve,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. So I don't know, it's gonna be exciting. It'll be a great race.
Mhm.
This pops into my head though, and as we're picking names, it comes into my head, and it also has with Deca, make Deca now going to top 20 as opposed to top 12. Is top 15 good? Should it be more or should it be less? And I'll put this out there as should it be less because when we watch the coverage, we really don't see much happening past 10. You know,
Mhm.
it really kind of becomes an afterthought. So for the sake of viewing sport, should it be cut back? You can have a huge say. What would you like to say?
Okay, I think it
Could you come closer so we
should
can hear?
not be less if you're having a hard time picking out of 9 people to be the fourth and fifth person.
Well, that was pretty fucking logical. Did you
You have
hear?
to, no, you just repeat it.
She says that it shouldn't be less if you're having trouble picking out of 9 people to be fourth.
Right, like these times are so close. And I mean, we saw before if someone who wasn't in the top 15, Chris Rogowski, sneak in and win. And when the courses can be so different, I think 15 is a great number.
So what you guys are saying is, no, Dave, you're wrong. Shut up.
I don't think there should be less, no.
All right. I really don't have it. I really don't know either. I just kind of putting it out there because a lot of people are actually crying for more. They want more people in the final. They want like 20. I've heard people say as many as 30.
And
And
do 2 heats?
no, because like with Hyrox, we see it out there. I mean, they have like 40 people in a heat. So the question becomes, since you're having an open lane, do you just take as many people as equipment you have?
Yeah, why not?
But if you do that, and I'm not saying not to, if you do that, does that take away the exclusivity of it?
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
You know, like if it's the elite 40, is the sport big enough to do that where you're still going to have, like you say, there's 15 now, you still have, you say I mean, we're struggling to pick, for fourth place and stuff like that. And this is something that I always kind of get on. Coming 10th in an event like this is amazing. It's
Yeah.
good. It's huge. Coming top 10 is awesome. And then maybe by having more people in that actually makes the top 10 even more special when you do it at the event. I mean, I'm just mulling shit over in my head here. So yeah, I mean, maybe you just fill the lane and it is what it is. And how many races go every week, like automobile races, Olympics, like people at the Olympics, if you come, 30th in the marathon, that's great, right?
Yeah, and I mean it's cool to give people the opportunity to
And
say
is this
I was at the World Championships, but yeah, I can see the point though of does it dilute the um does it like the field in a way too where it's not quite as special because well 40 women, but I mean you're still when you're looking at even just your 30 here, some of these women too that we know like Bridget Brown, Lauren Runtala, like
Camilla Massa?
Camila Massa, like it would be great to see them in that race too, and like we know that they they've put down really good times and they're in the mix sometimes with the other girls too depending on the day, so
All right, so we decided it should be 30.
30.
Why
Yeah,
not?
I don't know. Or 2 heats is also interesting. Like, and then you kind of make it an A heat and a B heat or something.
I admit I don't want the 2 heats for that one. And I know we're doing that at DECA, and
Mhm.
that's cool. That's great. Um, but I still Hyrox has the ability to have 30 people in one heat, and I think that would be better. And obviously, if you look at this men's thing here, like you're still up to 30, you're 1 hour 26 second.
Yeah.
Like
Well, and all these times are so close. Like we're talking 5 to 10 seconds. So
yeah, yeah, you're a shoe fidget away.
yeah.
So yeah, all right, yeah, I'm sold. 30. You guys convinced me. I'm changing my vote. But there, yeah. So gonna be a great race this weekend. Make sure you guys tune in and check it out because It will be amazing. And I am not doing commentary, which means I'm able to just sit and watch and enjoy.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to that actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, it'll be. I don't know if we might not be able to watch it live.
Yeah, I don't think I'll probably be driving. Well, if it's Friday.
I don't think it's Friday. I think it's Saturday. Anyway, maybe if it's Saturday, we all need to get together after RX1 and have like a
A viewing party.
viewing party with some non-alcoholic beer
Mhm.
and some pizza and many, many podium medals.
Yeah, just wear them casually.
Casually everywhere I go, just wearing them all. Awesome. Beth, you got anything else for this week?
No, I don't. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. We did talk about a lot of things today, but there's a lot going on right now, and it's all good and it's all exciting. So, all the best this weekend to everyone racing in the Elite 15. We will be glued to our screens.